Hello friends, this is a quick little DIY salt bath for clearing and cleansing. Ideal for the full moon, but you don't have to wait till the full moon to do this. We are coming up on the full moon in Aquarius on Friday, which is going to be an eclipsed moon, which is going to make it even more intense. Each full moon is going to have a different effect on us, different areas of our emotions or our personal life or work life. And the one coming up in Aquarius is really going to deal with a lot of our resentments, times in which we've been treated unfairly, times in which maybe we have felt like things, we've been wronged. So it can be an intense week for those of us especially who are a little more moon sensitive than others. So I wanted to do this little video and show you all how we can go ahead and prepare for that. Now, I have my ingredients, which I'm going to go through. I'll also list them in the description of the video. I'm also going to go over some crystals that you can use in addition to like the meditation work and stuff that you might want to do after. And I will have timestamps on the video. I will have the ingredients listed on the video. And we're going to do it two ways. We're going to do a simple bath where you just kind of dump everything in the bathtub, or if you don't have a bathtub, because a lot of people don't, I'm going to show you how to take that bath and very simply turn it into a salt scrub, so that if you don't have the bath, you can just kind of scrub yourself down, or if you don't like to take baths, you can scrub yourself down. So the timestamps will be on there. If you're watching this video and it doesn't have the ingredients and the timestamps yet, do check back. That just means that the video loaded while I was sleeping and you got to it before I woke up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get all the information on there once it's loaded. I'm gonna start by clearing. I'm gonna start by doing a little smudging or a little blessing on the ingredients that I am using. And so what I did is, for those of you who haven't worked with Palo Santo, I'm just lighting it. Very simply lighting it. You can use a charcoal burner. Sometimes I like to light charcoal and have it in my burner, but when you do that, you get a lot of smoke, and I thought that maybe for the purpose of this video that might be a little counterproductive. Now I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm using a smudging wand that I've made, but you can use a feather, you can use a paper plate, you can use a paper fan. I don't care, it all works, it's all good. So I'm just going over and I'm just brushing. It's kind of hard with this camera angle, but I'm just going ahead and I'm giving it a quick cleanse, a quick little blessing. Now, I like to work with pink Himalayan sea salt when I do my bath work, when I do my clearing work. I'm going to also go ahead and just kind of bless this little jar here from the inside. And I like to work with pink sea salt. You don't have to work with the pink sea salt. You can use regular, just plain old white sea salt. All that matters, guys, is that you're using sea salt. Make sure that it says sea salt on there. I like to use the pink sea salt simply because it has a very specific feel to it, to me, but I'm very sensitive to energies, so it's not going to be the same for everyone. And if you can't feel the difference, or it's hard for you to get your hand on sea salt, on pink sea salt, then you can use the regular. You can get sea salt for pretty cheap off Amazon. So you just go ahead and put, ideally, if you're not making it in a jar, but I'm putting it in the jar because it's prettier here, and because we're going to turn it into a scrub in a second. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to put in, if you were taking a bath, 3 or 4 good handfuls. And that's about 3 or 4 good handfuls of sea salt. And we're going to do it two ways. For those of you who can't get your hands on essential oils, or you don't want to, or it's a little tricky or a little pricey, I'm sure all of you have sage in your cupboard at home, or most of you do. And if you don't, you can get it for pretty cheap. And you can go ahead and put a little bit of sage in there for cleansing. Okay. And a little bit of rosemary. Now, here's a fun fact about rosemary. I bet a lot of you don't know. The Catholic Church, when they were pretty open about doing exorcisms, now, and I'm not Catholic, by the way, but when they were pretty open about doing exorcisms, or they had like more information out there, research shows one of the things that they did use was rosemary. Rosemary, frankincense, things of that nature, just to like clear out or dispel negativity. So that's a little fun fact that a lot of people may not know. But I like to put in the rosemary because to me it feels very cleansing, very purifying, and I like the energy. It makes me feel like there's been this very thorough cleanse. Sage is great too. Sage, we all know, is really also great for clearing negative energy, but there are different types of negative energy, okay? To me, sage is really good at clearing the stagnant stuff. To me, rosemary is good at cleaning some of the more aggressive stuff, or the things that we're having a more difficult time moving. Rosemary feels a little more potent to me, and that's why I like to include that. Now, I also like to include lavender, because what happens when we're releasing and we're cleansing, like say you're doing a bath, sometimes we get a lot of really heavy emotions coming up, and lavender helps with soothing. So if you have stress, if you have anxiety, if you have things like that, lavender is great. And I ripped this open before I showed this to you. Now I'm going to show you the lavender that I use. I use just lavender tea, straight dried lavender, which can be a little pricey, right? And I also use dried roses, just a straight bag of dried roses. But you can get teas, sleepy time teas, like this is a sleepy time tea I got from Target. And it does have chamomile in it, which also is really great for soothing, but it also has lavender. So you can tear open that tea bag and you can put a little bit of that in there. Or we can go ahead, just because it's a little bit prettier, I'll go ahead and I'll put, and it's just, I love the smell of it. Now, I do make energy bath bundles that I have in my Etsy shop, which do have the lavender, do have the rose. They're a little more potent. You can see all of the little bits in there. And it also comes with my homemade Florida water, which is here, which is also great for really clearing. And you can get a few baths out of there. But there's a lot of other stuff in there for clearing that I'm not going to go over right now, just because it hits a lot of layers, and if you're new to the whole cleansing bath thing, this might be a good start for you. You can do it yourself, or you can reach out to me. I'm happy to put one together for you. But the lavender is going to be good with soothing, as is the rose. You don't have to put the lavender in there. You don't have to put the little dried roses in there. I just like to do it because it looks pretty and it feels pretty. But you definitely don't have to do that. You can just do plain old sea salt and some kitchen cabinet spices, and you're good to go, okay? And that can go in your bathtub, and you'll be all set for the full moon. Now, I do recommend adding to the bath a little bit of coconut oil. And I just have some regular old coconut oil here from the store. Melted coconut oil preferably. I let this sit in the sunlight because it's the summer and it's really hot and I'm in California. So it just melted very naturally, very easily, and I didn't have to worry about messing with anything or burning myself. Coconut oil will burn fairly quickly. So I'm going to put a little bit in here because we're going to start transitioning into our next phase. But, you know, if you were to just be doing the bath without the salt scrub, you could go ahead and just, you know, put that in there. Put in a few spoons, like 2 or 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, and you're good to go. Now, for those of us who are going to want to do the scrub, this is what we're going to do. Oh, one more thing. Let me rewind here for a second. If you're just going to do it this plain old little dry mix here, I like to charge my bath. So I have a bowl here, which I smudged and cleansed earlier. And you can go ahead and put your little mixture in your bowl. You can put your hands in there and really shake it up more. Okay, stir it up more. And typically I would not advise putting crystals in salt, but these are my working crystals, and I don't really mind if these get scuffed up or if they get drained here in the salt. And I'll explain what I'm doing here. That green one there is peridot, which is really great for opening up the heart chakra. It's also said to bring in money in some cases, so if you've been having blocks around finances, that's really great. The pretty blue one in the back there is sodalite, which is really good for getting you in a place where you don't need to be always leaning on others for reassurance, like you can trust in yourself more. Rose quartz is for unconditional love of self, unconditional love of others. That's the pink one. Clear quartz is just really good for blasting energy, clearing energy. And then the little purple amethyst in there is really great for helping activate your third eye, your intuition, and really great for helping with any kind of sobriety issues or things like that. It's said to be a positive little talisman there. So I would leave this overnight with the crystals, and I would have my little white candle, which is lit. You can't really see now, like from the angle of the camera, but my little candle is lit there. So I would have that there so it could suck in that candlelight, that white light, the crystals, and it could charge like that overnight, and then I would use it when I'm ready to take the bath. Now, for those of us who aren't going to do the bath this way, we're going to go ahead and put our mixture back into the glass. Let me pause while I do this. And we're back. So, we have this sea salt and our herbs and everything is in there ready to go. You can add more, guys. You can add more sage, more rosemary. If there's another flower or herb you like working with, you can add that in as well. I don't think I added my lavender though. Silly me. There we go. Lavender's in there now. So those of you who are gonna do the scrub, you can just start adding coconut oil at this stage and stirring it. Those of us though who want to work with the essential oils, I have the coconut oil here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start adding about 5 drops of lavender. If you want it heavier, you can do 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just also depends on how sensitive you are to scents. So I guess we did 10 there. And then rosemary oil. Now, rosemary oil, it's pretty strong, the scent. And if you don't like the scent, I would say go easy on it. I put like 4 drops in there. And then you could also add some drops of sage. All right. And then we're just going to add the oil a little at a time. We can go ahead and stir it. We're going to add it a little at a time here. And you'll just kind of see how it absorbs there. Let's move my Palo Santo out of the way. Get in here a little more. And the reason why we're using the coarse salt, guys, I know you're looking at it and you're saying, oh my goodness, ouch, like that looks like it would hurt to use as a scrub. But as you're adding the oil, it's gonna melt a little bit. And when you put this in the bathtub, in the warm water, it melts. So as we're mixing it up, the consistency changes. The scrub itself becomes a little smoother. And it will melt as it's sitting in there. So even though it's a scrub, it's not going to be like giant rocks. Because that wouldn't be fun. Although it doesn't feel too bad, like on the skin. Especially with the oil. And then like when you have the water in there, you should be good. So now, what I would advise like see here on the bottom, you've still got some dry bits. It's gonna soak up, so don't like get super aggressive and start adding a bunch of more oil, feeling like, oh, I need it to get down to the bottom, or I want more, because it will absorb. I am gonna add a little bit more to this, but I'm also gonna let it sit for a bit, because I don't want it to be too oily. If it gets too oily, the only issue there, I mean, you can still use it, you just might have excess oil left on your skin after the bath. So if you don't like that oily feeling, you're not going to want it to be on the oilier end. And depending on how you use it, I would say, especially if you don't live alone, if you share your shower area with someone else, make sure you rinse the tub off real well after you get out, because if you have a really oily salt scrub, it could make the shower floor pretty slippery, and you don't want anybody to slip or have that excess oil there. So now I have oil kind of at the bottom. It's starting to go down there at the bottom, and the top is feeling a little bit dry. But what we're gonna do is let that sit for a while and let it absorb. Now I'm looking at the bottom. I don't see like pools of oil down there, so I think we're good and we're safe of adding a little bit more coconut oil. And if you do end up adding like way too much and you're like, oh my goodness, I have this soup now on my hands, just balance it out. Add a little more salt and you're good to go. There we go. So this is like a nice consistency here. And what's going to end up happening, oh, see, I got a little bit of soupiness there. So we'll just add a teensy bit more salt. Just to soak that up some. There we go. Perfect. Right, now we have a nice little scrub. And as you let that sit and marinate for a bit, it's gonna go ahead and smooth out. And I know that you can't smell it right now, but oh, it smells so good to me. I can definitely smell the lavender. I can smell the rosemary. And so with this, I won't put my raw crystals in here to charge overnight, simply because they will definitely start dissolving, and I don't want to do that. But what I can do is just kind of put them here around my lovely little container, right? You know what I'm doing. You've picked it up already. And then just go ahead and put my stones down here. And then I've misplaced my amethyst in this process, but it's okay. Honestly, if I was charging, I'd probably use this one here. And if you follow my daily readings each day on Facebook and Instagram, you know this crystal well. It's in every daily or morning cards that I post. So this is it, guys. This is a really easy bath that you can do at home. Now, some of the things are going to be a little more expensive. So if you're on a super duper budget, you don't have to use the coconut oil. If you're on a super duper budget, you don't have to put in the dried lavender and the dried roses. But what I do recommend is sea salt, If you're not going to do the scrub, you can use regular fine sea salt. You don't have to go out of your way and find coarse sea salt. But if you're going to do the scrub, then you're going to want the coarse sea salt. And just, sage essential oils, sage essential oil, rosemary essential oil, lavender essential oil, I think are very important. If you can't get a hold of essential oils or it's too pricey, just use spices that you cook with. Just ground up sage, ground up rosemary, and if you can get lavender in there, I would highly recommend it, just because the lavender helps with soothing the stress and the worry as we're releasing. Because sometimes when we release, really intense emotions come up. If you've never done any kind of cleansing before, I highly recommend just doing a little sea salt bath at home. If you're ready for something a little more potent, or you're used to the sea salt baths, I do have in my Etsy shop the bath that I make. And the difference here, guys, is there's things in here that are a lot more potent, and I'm not going to list them or go into all of them. And also, as an energy healer, I infuse them with energy. And then this is the Florida water, which I make as well. I infuse them with energy. So it's kind of like me giving you a little energy healing session that I'm packaging up and I'm mailing it off to you. It's infused with energy on top of the holistical things that are in there. So that's also an option for those of you who are interested. Now, what I would like to do is go a little bit deeper into the Aquarius full moon that's coming up and the crystals that I recommend for this full moon. And then I'm going to show kind of how you can clear and charge those crystals. A couple of different methods that work and that are helpful. So if you want to stick around for that part, we're going to go ahead and jump right into that now. The Aquarius full moon, like I said, it might be bringing up resentment, might be bringing up hurt feelings, might be bringing up things that we're feeling really stuck about. And so there's specific stones that I'm recommending for this particular full moon that's coming up in Aquarius. Or if you happen to feel that, hey, you know what, I have those issues and those are things that I need to be working on anyway, you can start working with those stones or make them like a regular for you, right? You don't have to just limit them to the Aquarius full moon and to the eclipse. So, the first one I want to recommend is obsidian, which is really great for clearing negativity, okay? And for clearing energy around you. Onyx also, which looks very similar to obsidian, it's also a black stone. Onyx is great for helping clear grief. So if you have any grief aspects, or if there's something that you're grieving, then you're probably going to want to use onyx or also get onyx. Unfortunately, I don't have onyx on me here at the moment, but I do have the obsidian. And obsidian's really great for helping dispel negativity and clear negativity, and help you with like just kind of creating that grounding space for yourself. Another crystal that I really, really recommend for this process is black tourmaline. So if you're somebody who, say, you have a lot of people that are always coming up to you and they're dumping all of their stuff on you, all of their gossip, all of their drama, this is really great for that type of energy and clearing and protecting that kind of energy. It's also said to be really great with blocking like electronic waves, or like anything that your computer is emitting, or the internet rays that a lot of people are concerned about right now. It's said to do a lot with clearing that out. So black tourmaline, obsidian, and then I'm gonna say rhodonite. Rhodonite is really great, guys, for helping with things you're having a hard time letting go, because you simply feel like, I just simply cannot forgive. I cannot forgive this person. I cannot forgive this situation. So it's really great with helping release the fear, the anxiety, the anger that's around that. Now, this is going to bring me to the next stone. Sometimes even then, like, we feel like, I don't want to, or I wish I could want to, but I can't. So sometimes we can't do it, but we're willing to, like, we can't do it because we don't want to do it, but we're willing to want to do it, if that makes sense. So if you're in that place where you can't do it because you don't want to, but you're willing to get to that place where you'll want to, I would recommend fluorite. Now, the handle of the wand I was using earlier is fluorite. And fluorite comes in two ways. It comes either in this kind of like this milky moonlight looking color that looks similar to selenite. So fluorite can come in this white tone. But it also comes in a purple and green striped tone that looks a little bit like amethyst but with green colors in it. So that's really great for helping with accepting that something just is the way that it is. Maybe this person did it that what they weren't supposed to, but at the same time, you know, they don't want to apologize, or they don't feel that they did anything wrong, right? And we feel like, no, they have to, but they have to realize fluorite will help us kind of just be in that place of acceptance and understand that what happened, and that, you know, there's a reason that will be shown to us at some certain point, but it just helps us to deal with things the way they are in the moment. Selenite is referred to as liquid light, right? And it's just great for full moon stuff in general, but it's really great for dispelling the negativity and like clearing it or moving it into the light. So we have selenite there. And then rose quartz, guys. Rose quartz is really great for self-love, unconditional love of self, okay? Because sometimes as we're releasing, there's parts about us that we don't like, or we blame ourselves. Oh, I was so stupid and it happened because I was so stupid, or those kinds of thoughts. This helps with clearing that out. This helps with helping that judging voice get out of your head, and you just kind of loving you and knowing that you're worthy the way that you are. And then another stone I'm going to recommend, because for some of us, guys, this is going to be a lot of really intense, heavy emotions, and we're going to get tired, and we might feel like, you know what? I'd rather just bottle this all up. I don't want to heal. I don't want to clear. It's not worth it. Or I'm too tired. You know, that's why I would recommend carnelian. Carnelian is great for giving us that victory energy. It's great for giving us motivation. It's great for helping us get up and to not tire out, to see something through to the end. Oops. To see something through to the end. Alright, so that's why I would recommend carnelian for this specific Aquarius full moon. I got little rose petal bits on my fingers. Alright, and so those are the stones that I'm recommending for this full moon. And these are just things that I've worked with, things that I like the vibration of. There's real no wrong way. Like, you know what you're going through, you know what you're trying to release. You can look up those stones and you can figure out what stones are good for that, or you can ask me and you can work with those stones. Now that we've showed you some stones to work with, I'm going to show you how to clear them. Okay. So again, there's a couple of different ways, and I'm going to show you these different ways. And I won't do every single stone, simply because it's the same process and it would take a really long time. And this video is already going on 30 minutes. You can use sage, you can use frankincense, you can use dragon's blood, which does not have blood in it. It just has a really dramatic name. It's a type of herb, and it's fairly easy to get. So I would say frankincense, sage, dragon's blood, or Palo Santo. I have the Palo Santo here nearest to me, so I'm going to use the Palo Santo. And anytime you get crystals, guys, it's a good idea to do this. Or say your friends come over and they start like wanting to pick up and touch your crystals. After they leave, don't do it in front of them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But after they leave, you should do this process, because crystals pick up energy. And say you ordered them online, or you went to a shop and you picked them up, you're going to want to clear them. So we'll start with this. Here's my rhodonite. Okay. I'm going to hold it over the smoke. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at it. And there's no real wrong or right way to do this. There's no real like set time. It's not like, oh, turn it over 3 times or do it for 2 minutes or whatever. It's just kind of like what feels right to you. And as you become more sensitive to energies, you will feel the energy of the crystal changing. You may even see that it's starting to look brighter. To me, it's starting to look brighter. I don't know if it is to you guys, but it just might be the way that I'm experiencing the process. Each one of us is going to experience things differently. So to me, as I'm looking at this, I'm fairly happy with it. Okay? It seems brighter to me. The colors seem a little more vibrant to me. I feel like it's woken up. I feel like it's clear and it's woken up. Another way to do it is, let's see, which one do I want to use here? I want to use... Let's do the carnelian. Alright, so this one I'm going to show you how to do with the candle. Let's say you're in a place where you can't really use incense, or you don't have incense, or you don't like incense, or whatever the issue is. Then you can take your stone and hold it over your candle. And it's going to be hot, so you don't want to get too close. And you just wave it over a few times. And the cool thing about using the candle, and again guys, the crystal will warm up, so don't be too close. Be very careful about that. I don't, use caution, use common sense. Don't set anything on fire, don't burn yourself, don't get too close. So now, again, as I'm looking at my carnelian, it looks brighter to me. I don't know if it does to you. It just might be the way that I'm experiencing this. Okay, so you saw it. I didn't really do anything different to it other than pass it over the fire a few times. But it definitely seems more vibrant to me. And that's how I'm experiencing it. I've heard some people say they feel the stone getting heavier or whatever it is. Why don't we do the rose quartz too? See, and the cool thing about it too is you're doing it... Wow, this is getting really hot. You can see the light moving around inside the crystal. So maybe just focus on that. Focus on the light. I'm sure you can see that pile of incense ash in the corner. I'm sorry. So you're going to see that light moving in the crystal. And I would say just focus on that while you're doing the clearing. Focus on that light moving through. And see now, again, this looks more vibrant to me. I feel like it filled up with light. And it could just be the way that I'm experiencing it. I mean, you might be watching the video going, okay, this lady's cuckoo. And that's fine. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. But I definitely feel like I can see a difference here. That's the way that I experience it. So as you're doing this, as you're moving things over the light, I would just say, or the incense, just focus on watching the smoke moving along it or watching the light flicker through it. Don't ask yourself, am I doing this right? Is this how you're supposed to do it? Is anything changing? Don't try to force an experience, right? Just know that over time you're going to start having a relationship with your crystals and experiencing them in different ways. Now, after you've cleansed them, you can pick them up in your hand. You can thank them. You can place them with an intention, like, this is going to be to, like, shield me from drama, or this is going to be, or think about how you want to feel and bring that feeling up in your heart and just put that feeling into the crystal through your hands. And then when you want to fully charge them, you can leave them out in the moonlight. You don't have to put them outside. You can have them on a windowsill. You can leave a curtain or a blind open to let moonlight in on a full moon. You can even charge them in the sun, but you guys do some research, because there's some crystals that if you leave in the sun, they're going to melt, or they're going to get smaller. They're going to get eaten up by the sunlight. So sun is not always the best friend of your crystals. Look that up, learn more about that. But some safe ways, I would say moonlight is definitely a safe way. You know, just have them in a place where they can get a little bit of that moonlight. You don't have to be in direct moonlight. As long as it's a full moon and there's light from the moon coming in from outside, you're good. So I hope that helps, guys. We have our crystal lesson. We have our lovely little bath mix here. We have Arabic music outside. I don't know if you heard that. I live in a multicultural area, so we hear all kinds of things here. So we got a little party. We got a little dance party going on outside as we were finishing up. So maybe that's a sign from the universe that we're going to clear things and have ourselves a little dance party. Or have a new experience. You know, have some adventures, travel, meet new cultures. I don't know. But thank you for watching, guys. And take it easy this full moon. It's going to be a doozy for some of us. If you'd like a private reading, or if you'd like a specially made bath just for you, let me know. And also, guys, you know, comment, let me know if there's any other videos or how-tos you'd like me to make. This is a brand new baby channel, so I want to make sure I'm getting out content that is beneficial and useful for you all. Take care.